you're thinking about leaving Toronto, this video is probably the reason why. Not the parks, not the coffee shops, not even the lifestyle stuff. It's the money. At some point, almost every single Toronto person has had the same thought. We earn good money, so why does it feel like everything is so tight? Today, I'm breaking down the real cost of living comparison between Toronto and Guelph, using actual numbers, not hype, not even sales talk. We'll cover house prices, rent, commute and transportation, and day-to-day expenses. And I'll also cover the trade-offs, because there are some, and pretending otherwise doesn't help anybody. If you're new here, I'm Andrew. I help people relocate to Guelph every single week, especially those coming from Toronto who want more space, more balance, and fewer "where did my money go" moments. All right, let's talk about the numbers. So let's talk about the biggest cost, housing. Right now, roughly speaking, Toronto's medium house price is about $850,000. Guelph's medium house price is about $650,000, so that's a $200,000 difference. It's the same province, same country, very different monthly reality. The difference often translates into lower monthly mortgage payments, less pressure on your budget, and far more flexibility month to month. But here's an important point, and this is where the nuance matters. The price gap in Guelph is not as wide as it used to be. 5 or 6 years ago, the difference between Toronto and Guelph was massive. Today, it has narrowed, largely because more people are moving here. But that's how markets work. Affordability attracts demand, and demand pushes prices up. So while the advantage is still very real, it's not unlimited. And that's exactly why relocators, like you, feel like timing matters. So the goal isn't to find the cheapest city, it's to find the city with the numbers that still make sense. Here's a cost that most buyers don't fully appreciate it until they're in it. Land transfer tax. In most Ontario cities, including Guelph, you pay a provincial land transfer tax only. In Toronto, you pay it twice. You pay a provincial land transfer tax plus a municipal land transfer tax. Municipal. It's a fun word to say. It's effectively doubled. On an $850,000 purchase in Toronto, that can mean tens of thousands of dollars more upfront compared to buying in Guelph. That's money paid immediately, not over time. For buyers, avoiding the Toronto land transfer tax alone preserves savings, reduces borrowing, and lowers financial stress right out of the gate. It's not glamorous, but it is significant. Rent and condo fees. Let's talk about rent first. The average monthly rent in Toronto for a one-bedroom is roughly $2,000 to $2,400 a month. A two-bedroom is $2,600 to $3,000. In Guelph, a one-bedroom is $1,400 to $1,600, and a two-bedroom is $1,800 to roughly $2,000. There's a savings of $400 to $1,000 per month, or up to $12,000 a year. Yes, I said that. $12,000 a year. Makes a difference when you think about it that way. But here's a surprise cost that really gets people. And it's not necessarily related to rent, but it's related to when you purchase a condo, townhouse condo, or an apartment condo. In Toronto, condo fees commonly run between $500 and $700 a month, and sometimes are even $900 to $1,000 a month. In Guelph, condo fees, including townhouses, typically range between $200 and $400 a month, and many buyers move into a freehold home with no condo fees at all. This is often the biggest ongoing cost reduction people didn't expect. When you remove or reduce condo fees, you're not just saving money, you're lowering a fixed monthly expense that never goes away. For many former Torontonians, this alone changes how comfortable their monthly budget feels. Now, let's talk about the commute, because this is where people hesitate. Yes, Guelph is about 30 to 45 minutes by car with no traffic, roughly 1 hour by GO Transit all the way to Toronto. But here's the comparison people overlook. The average daily commute times from Toronto is about 35 minutes, often longer. Guelph is about 22 minutes total. In fact, you can go from one side of Guelph all the way to the other in 25 minutes. There's less congestion, less stop and go, and less stress. Many people that are relocating here only commute 2 to 3 days a week and they work remotely the rest, and some only go into Toronto occasionally. Even when you factor in the GO transit and fuel costs, the savings from housing, rent, condo fees, and other things usually outweigh the transportation costs by far. The commute becomes a choice, not a grind. Let's zoom in on everyday expenses. Overall cost of living index. Toronto's cost of living index is 105.8, Guelph is 95.2. That means groceries, utilities, and services tend to be 8 to 12% lower in Guelph. But now for the honest trade-off. Property taxes in Guelph are higher than Toronto. Yes, they are higher than Toronto. Toronto's effective residential property tax rate is roughly 0.6 to 0.7%. Guelph's effective tax rate, that's hard to say, Guelph's effective tax rate is closer to 1.2 to 1.4%, depending on the property type. So yes, most homeowners will pay more in property taxes here, percentage-wise. But context matters. You're often paying the higher rate on a lower-priced home with lower or no condo fees and lower overall carrying costs. For most people I work with, the total monthly picture still improves, even after accounting for the high property taxes. It's not about everything being cheaper. It's about where the money shifts and whether the trade-off feels worth it. So here's the bottom line. Moving from Toronto to Guelph usually means lower purchase prices, even if the gap tightens, major savings on land transfer tax, lower rent, lower or eliminated condo fees, shorter daily commutes, slightly higher property taxes, but lower overall monthly pressure. This is why affordability remains the #1 reason why people relocate here. Not because it's cheap, but because it's balanced. If you want my step-by-step relocation checklist, it's linked somewhere below. And if you've got questions about timing, neighborhoods, or whether this move actually makes sense for you, drop them in the comments. I read every single one. In the next video, I'll break down where people actually live once they move to Guelph and which neighborhoods match different lifestyles. Thanks for watching. And remember, sometimes the smartest move isn't earning more, it's spending less without giving up the life you want.